My name is Joe Ramsey. I'm one of the organizers of the local UMass Boston group, Boston Against the Trump Agenda. And I'd like to thank you all for coming out today for what we build as a sanctuary campus speakout, as well as a petition delivery and a banner unfurling. As you can see behind you, we have, as a group, with the help of some artists and some logistical support, we actually have our first UMass Boston sanctuary campus banner named "Make UMB a Sanctuary Protect." Big shout out to Oliver for making it happen, to Professor Linda Liu for developing the artwork and the digital artwork that made it happen. We also have, as many of us are already donning, stickers which proclaim the same image. Now our hope is that that banner in one place or another can stay visible on campus as a rallying point, as a reminder from this point on until the end of the semester, and who knows how long. We may not have total control over whether or not that happens, but regardless of whether or not the big banner stays up and where it stays up, or if it only is unfurled every time we rally, we have the stickers, right? They can't stop the stickers. We're going to proliferate this image and this call for solidarity. Right? This call for solidarity and this call for making our campus a sanctuary campus. Now we're going to hear from a number of speakers today, brief talks about what's going on in the effort to make this a sanctuary campus, why making this a sanctuary campus matters, what that means. Right? Boston Against the Trump Agenda is just one of a number of groups on campus that has called on the UMass Boston administration and on the University of Massachusetts more generally to declare our campus a sanctuary and to provide more material support to immigrant students and refugees who may be targeted by ICE and other parts of this Trump regime, and also to take further steps to condemn the ban, to condemn the so-called Muslim ban in its first version or in its 2.0 version, right? We, as a group, with the help of people like Mona, who's been holding down our table on the second floor of the campus center for the last couple months, others who have been putting in time as well, we've gathered about 1,000 signatures from members of the UMass Boston community, calling on the UMass Boston administration to do three things. One, condemn the so-called Muslim ban. As of now, our administration has not done that, though they have put out statements of sensitivity and support for members of our community. There has not been a direct statement that calls out this ban for the Islamophobic, racist, and xenophobic piece of trash that it is. That's our first demand. Our second demand is that UMass Boston, in fact, declare this place a sanctuary campus and follow that up with concrete steps to support our particularly immigrant brothers and sisters on this campus who are targeted from ICE, whether it's because of their Muslim status or because of their general documentation status or their immigrant status, right? So that's our petition. We have 1,000 signatures on it. Our plan is to deliver that petition and with a symbolic fraction of the signatures that we've gathered. Some of them are online, some of them are on print. So that's one of our goals for today. The other goal is to display this banner, and the final goal is that, in fact, what we're going to do first, we're going to hear speakers from a variety of different groups on campus. The first speaker I'd like to welcome to the front is actually is a first-year student here at UMass Boston. It's been one of the real active organizers with Boston Against the Trump Agenda. That's Megan Alves. She's going to share some thoughts and, in fact, read the Boston Against the Trump Agenda petition out loud. So please join me in welcoming Megan to the stage. Can y'all hear Megan?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So I'm just going to start reading the petition. We, the undersigned members of the UMass Boston community, express our opposition
that Megan read may have noticed a couple of things. It might make you feel like that petition is dated in some way, right? One is it mentioned the original ban of 7 predominantly Muslim countries, whereas the current ban that the Trump administration is pushing references 6. They dropped Iraq from the list. Nonetheless, the spirit of our petition stands, and the signatures that apply to 7 countries certainly apply to 6. The second way in which you might hear that this petition sounds dated is that it's addressed specifically to now outgoing, as we know, Chancellor Motley, as well as the broader UMass Boston administration. I wanted to call attention, before we bring up our next speaker, to just one point relevant to that, and that is, though Motley apparently will be leaving in June, though he may return later, our petition was never just about getting Motley or the UMass Boston administration to take notice and take action, though it is still a call on whoever sits in that chancellor's seat to take material action to support our immigrant, refugee, international students and other targeted members of our community. But in addition to that, as my student said earlier in class today, actually Samaya, where are you? Samaya said, you know, what's the point of a petition? She said it's kind of like a rally on paper. A rally on paper that lets people that know, who sign that petition, know that they're not alone in wanting to take the stand. They're not alone in condemning this ban, even if they don't hear their view on TV, if they don't hear it in their UMass Boston email, they hear it in the form of this petition. So I think it's very important for us, as our banner proclaims, we're not just saying, please make UMass Boston a sanctuary campus administration. We're saying to all of us, to every member of this community, make UMB a sanctuary, protect each other. And the only way we can really have a sanctuary is if we, the people, the students, the faculty, staff, and workers, as well as supportive administrators, take it upon ourselves to make this a sanctuary, to protect each other. When we hear people are coming under attack, we support them and we address their needs. Right? So that's why what we're doing today is not just about trying to get the administration to say something, it's trying to get every one of us in our communities, in our classrooms, to feel a little more encouraged to speak up, to organize, and to fight back when we see attacks coming, as they are coming daily. The attacks are not only raining down on refugees and immigrants, though. The attacks are also raining down on other groups, and so I think it's appropriate to bring up Professor Chris Fung, who's going to join us. Last time we had a rally, had a time conflict. He's going to give us a little more political context for some of the other attacks that the Trump administration is raining down on communities across this country and across this world. So please welcome Chris Fung to the stage.
Thank you, everybody. One of the things that we know is that the people who are being targeted by immigration, by the Trump administration, are being placed in the control of a carceral state. That is a state that is profiting from the imprisonment of people, a state that is using people's bodies as economic fodder around the issue of prisons and control. Our police forces are becoming weaponized against us. There are communities for whom this has been true for centuries. So I want us to remember that although we are saying here that UMass Boston should be a sanctuary for people who are being targeted now, we should also remember that UMass Boston should be a sanctuary for all of the people who are being targeted by law enforcement, so-called. Our brothers and sisters who are LGBTQ, our brothers and sisters in the communities of color, our brothers and sisters in the poor communities, right? Native Americans, who know much more than the rest of us about being interned. Right across the water here, on Deer Island in 1674, over 400 Native people were interned because they were Native by the Massachusetts Bay Colony. When they were allowed off that island, there were only 150 of them left alive. 1674. This shit's been going on for a long time. And this petition, this movement to make UMass Boston a sanctuary is where some of us should be drawing the line and saying this is not our Massachusetts. This is not our reality. We stand for something better. Thank you.
As Chris Fung points out, this is obviously not just about Trump, right? That Trump is, you might say, the tip of the iceberg, of the toxic iceberg, a symptom of a deeper malady, right? In addition to representing a very specific threat to many different communities and values, it's not just about Trump. Though the local group is called Boston Against the Trump Agenda, it's not just about Trump, but it is also about Trump. It is also about Trump. Our next speaker, Mona, who has been really just an anchor holding this group together in its day-to-day activity as tabling and outreach. I think we should give Mona a round of applause just for the work that she's done. She's probably put in 30 hours of tabling in the last couple of weeks. Mona's going to read a poem, which is also authored by a member of our group, Bob, who can't be here today. Mona's going to ask us actually a participatory poem which challenges Donald Trump as Donald Trump. So please bring Mona to the stage. Mona may also say a few words about her own personal situation and her relationship to this, but she's mainly going to share a poem. Mona, please join us.
Hi, can everyone hear me? Louder? Okay. I'd like to say some of my own background. I came here when I was 3 years old from Iran, and I've been here for 30 years. My family is of Iranian origin, and although they are not directly affected by the executive orders, many of our family is, because I have cousins in Texas who are students who can't have their parents visit them anymore, who've been torn apart from their families because of all this. So it's made me feel very passionate about this. I went back to Iran when I was 15, and I spent 2 years there, and I think there's a huge misrepresentation of Iran throughout the media, and they try to demonize and isolate Iran all the time. My father's there right now visiting family, and he's due to come back on the 15th, and he's having the time of his life. So there's been a grotesque exaggeration of Iran in the media, and there will continue to be throughout this regime. I'd like to read a poem by my friend Bob Pierce. He's a very dear friend of mine. He's a very gifted poet. It's about Trump, so I'd urge you all to join in. So it's called Dump the Chump.
Feel free to join in if you can anticipate. It's a poem you may be able to join in on, so feel free.
The world was once a place where children run and jump, and grown-ups too could live through without a Donald Trump. But now those days are gone. America's a sump where week by week we smell the reek of Mr. Donald Trump. He's worse than matter which emerges from the rump. We know full well there came from hell a turd named Donald Trump. Now I'm forced to say America's a chump. It domed its coat and went to vote for evil Donald Trump. The Arabian camel has upon its back a hump, but over we have, I fear, a lumpen Donald Trump. His hair is unnatural, and he is a rather plump, whose morals are the worst by far. That bastard, Donald Trump. His family is slick, Ivanka is no frump. But he's a mess of ugliness, disgusting Donald Trump. We often have an economic slump, but now we're in a state of sin, entitled Donald Trump. Conservatives coherd into a fascist clump of maggots in that state of sin, electing Donald Trump. The evildoers from a pestilential lump of noisome tar, the worst by far, is thinking Donald Trump. They do whatever they can to prime their poison pump and flush from earth all joy and mirth with putrid Donald Trump. But don't lose heart, my friends. Let's all agree to dump with all our strength at any length that arch swine Donald Trump. Let's go.
That's it. All right. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Mona. I mean, these are dark times. It's easy to get cynical. A little bit of humor goes a long way, and a little bit of audience participation does as well. So, I mean, I think there's two chants that are logical here. One is about Trump. Dump Donald Trump, right? Dump Donald Trump. 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 What? Dump Donald Trump. Dump Donald Trump. Dump Donald Trump. Dump Donald Trump. All right. Good. All right, we're alive, right? We're alive. It's a day that doesn't make you feel that alive, but we're alive. Another chant, we're going to bring up our next speaker. Make UMB a sanctuary. 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 call, there are things we can control and there are things we can't, right? Things on campus and things off campus. We need to support each other even as we face forces that are beyond our immediate control. We got to support ourselves until we have the forces to actually dump Donald Trump, right? We try to dump Trumpism where we live, and then we build the force to dump it where he lives. All right, it's my pleasure and privilege to welcome to the stage Peggy Walsh, my colleague in the English department and a member of the Faculty Staff Union Executive Council. She's going to be sharing FSU's own statement calling for UMB to become a sanctuary campus. Welcome, Peggy, to the stage.
I'm speaking on behalf of the Faculty Staff Union Executive Committee. Joe was calling the administration up there to come out and take a stand. This is one of our unions taking a stand. The Faculty Staff Union Executive Committee strongly condemns the 90-day suspension of visas and other immigration benefits to all nationals of Iran, Libya, Syria, Sudan, Yemen, and Somalia. Our UMass community is composed of people from all over the world, including these countries. Our UMass community is composed of many immigrants and children, like me, of immigrants. We know what it's like to be new in the country. I remember being a little kid wanting to be an American. That was in the days of no Irish need apply. I'm Irish. The Trump ban has already affected our community. Some of us affected directly, hold-ups at airports, standing around waiting and worrying about arrivals. It has affected all of us indirectly, whether you know it or not. There is now an atmosphere of fear and suspicion on the campus. We need to know who we can trust. I have a sign on my office door, immigrants and refugees safe here. You can come to my office, take the sign down, and photostat it for your office door if you like. It would be so wonderful if every office door had a sign like that on it. On a practical level, for those of you who are interested in the teaching and learning aspect of being at a university, our research, outreach, and opportunities have been cut down. Now people are afraid to travel to some of these countries because they're afraid they won't be allowed back home. Finally, we, the Faculty Staff Union Executive Committee, are committed strongly to supporting all the other unions, and especially the unions whose members are composed mostly of immigrants, some of whom have been fired, and maybe you could tell us a little bit more about those details, could you?
I will later.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Peggy. Following up on Peggy Walsh's talk, we have another leader in one of the local campus movements, Tom Goodkind, representing the Professional Staff Union. He's going to share some words with us next. Thank you, Tom. Welcome, Tom, to the stage.
So, I'm going to say a lot of what I said about a month ago, which is trying to address the question of what does a union have to do with sanctuary? I'm the president of the Professional Staff Union here, and a lot of people wonder, why should a union be concerned about sanctuary? The first question is, what is a union? A union is just the organizational expression of solidarity among a group of diverse people who happen to work together, like we have here at UMass. And it's the organizational embodiment of the idea that an injury to one is an injury to all. That's what a union is. And what is sanctuary? Sanctuary is the fundamental expression of solidarity with anyone who's facing danger from injustice and oppression. And a sanctuary is any place where the congregation practices the idea that an injury to one is an injury to all. The concept of sanctuary has its roots in religion, but any place of refuge or asylum is a sanctuary. And anywhere we have a congregation of people who swear to protect one another, whatever the cost, who express solidarity with one another, whatever may happen, and who declare by their actions that an injury to one is an injury to all, wherever that congregation exists, there exists sanctuary. Today, the Trump Confederacy is coming after all of us. Immigrants, people of color, women, Muslims, poor people, unions, those who wish to protect our environment, those dependent on public education and public services, and those who provide that education and those services. Look around us. The fact is, our UMass Boston is what the Trump Confederates call a target-rich environment. And whatever form their assaults take on this campus, whether immigration raids, anti-Muslim slurs, bottom-feeding hipster fascists, or Supreme Court attacks on our public sector unions, which are coming our way, our best and most enduring defense is in the solidarity of our UMass Boston congregation and in our demand that our campus be a sanctuary, both in spirit and in fact. Now, we have an example in front of us right now, which I only heard about recently, with the janitors on this campus, who are not employed directly by UMass Boston. They're employed by a contractor. They're privatized. They're represented by a union called SEIU 32BJ. And in October of last year, the university demanded that the contractor eliminate 5 of those janitors to save money for the university. In March, the university demanded that the contractor eliminate 12 more of those janitors. That's 17 total, which is approximately 30% of the janitorial staff of this campus. They have all been laid off. Almost all of those workers are immigrant workers, and many of us know them, and those of us who don't know them see them all the time and benefit from their work. And it is the fiscal crisis at this university and this administration which is driving the layoffs of those workers. So part of the expression of sanctuary should involve an expression of solidarity with those janitors. So I hope we can all deliver the message to the Chancellor and to the administration here that we want those janitors back, doing the work on which we depend, and that's part of making this a sanctuary campus too. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Make UMB sanctuary. Make UMB a sanctuary. Make UMB a sanctuary. Make UMB a sanctuary. Make UMB a sanctuary. All right. Sanctuary means solidarity, right? Sanctuary can't just be something that's on paper, something that we even get or don't get an administration to say they're going to do, but it has to be something that we do. We do, right? We actually had 2 members of the union that has just been targeted for layoffs wanted to be here with us today, but due to personal commitments, we're not able to make it back to campus. But we are in touch with them. We are planning to work with them in Boston against the Trump agenda. And I think Tom reminds us that defending immigrant rights means defending worker rights, right? Many times the only protection that workers have, and immigrant workers in particular, is a union if they have one. But a union is also only as strong as the people that inspire it and give it a sense of solidarity. A union on paper doesn't protect you. Only a union that actually has real solidarity. Right? So these workers couldn't be with us today, but they are under attack. And their situation reminds us that things we're hearing about in the newspapers every day about the budget crisis is related to the struggle against racism, the struggle for solidarity with immigrants, right? When the state doesn't give enough money to UMass Boston, when the trustees don't release funds that could relieve our financial distress, when more money, $14 million goes to upper administration, and there's not enough money for teachers and workers, jobs get cut. And who's get cut? The most vulnerable workers get cut. And who is that? It's often the janitors. 30% of their cleaning staff has now been alerted for layoff. Think about that for a second. We have more space on campus than ever, more bathrooms and hallways, 2 new huge buildings to clean and maintain, and yet the staff that clean them has been cut by 30%. Think about those workers' families, what they're going through, and think about the workers who haven't been laid off and what they're going through, having to work 30% harder, 30% more scared that they could be next. First they come for the janitors. Who's next? Right, we're hearing news about classes that are being canceled. What does that mean? It means students have fewer options for classes, delayed graduation. But it also means faculty, and often non-tenure track faculty, the most vulnerable faculty, those who have only been here for a few years in particular, including people that I know and value very much, may have their classes or even their jobs lost, right? You as students are facing courses being cut. I encourage you to think about what's happening to you as a labor issue that's affecting workers on this campus. We really need to stand up for more funding for workers, for janitors, for teaching, for students, in order to make this a real sanctuary. And so I need to point you to the fluorescent leaflet that Mary Jo is holding. This is a leaflet you need to take if you don't have one, and help pass them out to other people. This is a leaflet that calls you to come to the Board of Trustees meeting next Wednesday, 9 a.m., right in this building on the 3rd floor. The Board of Trustees are meeting. These are the people that control the purse strings of our university. And when they do not allow us to have the funds we need, it means people get hurt. It means people get cut. It means people get oppressed more than they already are. So I ask you, we are a small number today. We are hoping, however, to be hundreds at the Board of Trustees meeting, to flood that meeting and to make sure business as usual cannot continue if business as usual means rolling over the people that are most vulnerable, the people that actually make this institution function, the students, workers, and faculty. Are you going to be there on the 12th? Who will be there? Who will be there on the 12th? If you can be there, be there. If you can't, send a proxy, send a friend, send a colleague, send a teacher. This is a struggle that goes on every day. And it links, we need both the spirit of solidarity and the resources to make this place a sanctuary. How can it be a sanctuary if people can't afford to go here? How can it be a sanctuary if people are afraid they're going to be laid off? Right? Whatever paper they sign at the top, we need to make sure there's support, material support, to make this a real sanctuary. So join us on April 12th, and we can take that one step forward. Right now, I'd like to call to the stage another UMass Boston alum and staff and an organizer in the Boston area, Amanda Asian, to be followed by Chris Legier from the Boston Area Anti-Trump Network Combat, the coalition to organize and mobilize Boston against Trump. All right, welcome, Amanda.
Also in the International Socialist Organization and very dedicated to building a movement against Trump and his agenda. Trump has declared a massive war on immigrants in this country. 11 million people are under massive attack right now, are living in fear. Obama, who deported 3 million people, the porter-in-chief, has left this machinery for Trump to take on, and he's ramping it up. He's unleashed ICE, he's tripled their size, and they're terrorizing people across the country. So 4 activists in Vermont, immigrant rights activists, were arrested leaving an organizing meeting This was 2 weeks ago. Undercover ICE agents, attacking activists speaking out against deportations. A man was just shot in Chicago a few weeks ago by an ICE agent who's carrying out a raid. There have been workplace raids across the country. People living in fear of going to work, going home, traveling, and that's definitely hit our campus community in a big way. We have a large immigrant population amongst students and workers. And so in this context where you have a massive war on immigrants in this country, for the administration to come out and say, it's nice what you guys are doing, I support it, but we can't take a stand, I think is outrageous. I think it means a lot for the administration to take a stand publicly and actually provide resources to students who need them. Counseling, legal services. And not only are they not helping immigrant students under attack, but and resisting Trump's attack on immigrants, but they're actually carrying out more attacks that are making it harder for students. So they're on top of the fear that people are facing, they're adding more to that. So they're increasing tuition, they're pricing students out. Like people have said, the most vulnerable students. They're laying off people. They just laid off 7 janitors on Friday. Many of the janitors are immigrants and Latino. So this is really important for us to take a stand and demand that the administration take a stand and stop the attacks. One final thing I want to say is I think that it is possible to resist these attacks and make connections and actually challenge both what's happening that Trump's putting out there on our campus by demanding these resources and sanctuary status, but also through mobilizing to the Board of Trustees meeting, which is happening next Wednesday, and actually demanding stop cutting our courses. They just cut 200 courses that have been advertised for the fall semester. People aren't going to be able to graduate. That is going to affect the most vulnerable students on campus. They're raising tuition. They're laying off professors. They're laying off janitors. All of these issues are part of this overall attack that Trump is carrying out, the administration is supporting, our local government is supporting. So we need to unite these struggles, and I think the Board of Trustees meeting will be an important way to do that. The women's protests, the airport protests, all of the emerging struggle has shown us that protest actually does matter and can affect the realities in front of us. And so I think we need more of that. This is really important contribution to that. We need more organizing, more protests, and I hope to see people at the Board of Trustees meeting.
Thank you, Amanda. Our next speaker, Chris Legier, is a UMass Boston student and also active in the citywide coalition Combat, which is the coalition to organize and mobilize Boston against Trump. He's going to be talking a little bit about things we can do on and also off campus to build solidarity with immigrants and workers and others targeted by the Trump regime. Welcome, Chris, to the front.
Like I said, I'm a student here. I'm graduating this semester, but yeah, I've been here for a few years, and I'm a member of Combat. Something Combat's doing is working towards May 1st. Some of you might have heard, but there's going to be a nationwide Day Without an Immigrant strike happening. There have already been hundreds of thousands of workers who have pledged that they're going to strike on May 1st, and there's going to be rallies happening around the city on that day. And what Combat's trying to do is organize citywide student walkouts in solidarity with that. So we're working with organizations like COSECHA, and there's the May Day Coalition is organizing a rally on the Commons at 5 p.m. on May 1st. I encourage everyone to get involved with that. If you're interested in getting involved with Combat, we meet on Wednesday nights at Mass Art, and I have these brochures with some information. And also another thing that's happening is there's a rally happening on the Commons a week from today that's been organized by SIM, COSECHA, Combat, and the Northeastern Sanctuary Campus movement, I believe, too. But yeah, there's lots of stuff happening around the city, and it's really important to connect the work we're doing on campus to the broader nationwide movement and what's happening in the cities on other campuses. I think bringing these sanctuary campus movements together in a central place and working together on all their different campuses can strengthen each individual sanctuary campus movement. I was just talking to somebody at UMass last night who's organizing the sanctuary campus stuff there on his campus, and he was saying how the president there is worried about being the first one in Boston to declare his campus a sanctuary campus, kind of like sticking its neck out. And we're talking about how like we can link together and have build these movements together, so it makes presidents and chancellors feel like they're the odd one out, not following along with this movement. So I think it's really important to come together and work together on this issue.
Great. Thank you, Chris. So at this point in our program, I would like to wrap things up here and transition us to our next step, which is to in fact march to Motley's office in the Quinn Administration Building to deliver some of the 1,000 signatures that we have collected on our call to make UMass Boston a sanctuary campus. Before we wrap up though, I want to call attention to a couple of things. It's already been mentioned that next Wednesday's a big action. The fluorescent leaflet is about that. Come to the Board of Trustees, raise the call for a sanctuary campus there, and raise the call for the support that can make an accessible campus for all, quality, universal higher education accessible to all possible. Raise that call with us there. Our numbers will be bigger there. Secondly, I want to call your attention to something on the educational front. This is a small leaflet I'm going to pass around. Being a university, our job is not just to fight the Trump agenda, is not just to rally, but to take the power in our classrooms, using critical thinking and knowledge in the classroom and in academic programming to expand consciousness and build organization. We have dozens of events happening in April. There is a teach-in series. If you go to www.notmynormal.org, you can find literally dozens of teach-in events that are happening, particularly in the last week of April. Boston Against the Trump Agenda with Combat will be organizing one of these events. We encourage you to get involved. That will be on April 28th. There is also some great events on worker and immigrant solidarity on April 27th. I just refer you to the online calendar where you can find greater events to plug into. The struggle is not just in the streets, the struggle is also in the classroom and in the teach-in. So part of what you can do is spreading word about these events to your classmates, to your teachers. UMass Boston is a place where people are very busy and oftentimes we don't even know what's going on. That's one thing we can all do, is take what we know is going on and let other people know about it. Right? Whether it's an attack that's happening or a great event that's happening. If we can all take that small step of connecting literally with the people who are here today and connecting those people to our existing networks, we will be stronger tomorrow than we are today. And that's really the key, right? The big rallies come out of the small groups coming together. We need to sustain each other. And one thing you can do with Boston Against the Trump Agenda is come to our Thursday meetings. I think we're probably giving ourselves today off, but Thursday at 3:30, from 3:30 to 5, every single Thursday we meet in the new science building on the 3rd floor. You're welcome to join us, and if a few of you step forward and get more involved, then this rally, small as it may look, is a success, because every small step takes us closer. All right? That's all I have for you today. I have an inspirational poem, but my voice is going. So, how do you feel about marching? Hear about marching? The proposal was that they go through the catwalk because of the rain and wind. How do people feel about that? March through the catwalk behind our smaller banner. We also need a couple people to watch that banner in case there's any threat to it, to make sure nothing happens to it before we come back. So do we have volunteers? Do that, Mona? Perhaps another volunteer to join Mona? Before we start, I'd like to have just another few seconds of chanting to get our spirit back up. What are we asking for today? Is to make UMB a sanctuary and calling on our campus to protect each other, from the janitors to the faculty to everyone, to the students, right? Make UMB sanctuary. Make UMB sanctuary. Make UMB a sanctuary. Make UMB a sanctuary. All right, let's go deliver this petition, folks. See what the administration has to say.
Meeting, but I can petition for you.
Okay, great. So yeah, we would love to present the Chancellor with this position. We sent it via email a week ago, so I know there's been a lot going on in this office, I'm sure. But we wanted to follow up to make sure that it's read and that it's clear that over 1,000 people have signed this petition, divided between online and in paper. So I just have a small fraction of the actual signatures here today. But
He is aware of it.
Okay.
That this meeting was planned well before.
Sure, okay. Well, you know, we are here knowingly echoing not only the students' demands, but in fact the undergraduate student government, the faculty council, the faculty staff unions, executive council, all of whom have separately, but in a supportive way, called for UMass Boston to take the step in declaring itself a sanctuary city and to do the material things that are associated with that. Our particular petition also asks for the Chancellor or whoever else from the office to make a public statement that actually denounces the ban. We recognize that there have been some nice statements that have come out of the Chancellor's office on this about tolerance and culture, you know, distinguishing UMass's culture from the Trump agenda, et cetera, but there has not yet been a clear denunciation. And we would point y'all towards the statement that UMass Dartmouth's president put out, which was in fact an open denunciation of the racism and the bigotry that's embodied in that executive order. We just feel like the UMass Boston community is one of the diverse universities in the whole city, and that really we expect our leadership to represent us, not just playing defense like, okay, we'll protect you, but actually playing offense to call out assaults on our values. And so that's kind of the spirit of the petition. It's not only about declaring a sanctuary, but in fact calling out this racism that's affecting all of us and our students, their families, and things like that. So that's the gist of it. We also just want to register our concern about the news that 7 janitors have been laid off, and express that we consider sanctuary and solidarity to also include workers' rights, especially particularly immigrant workers' rights. And the layoff of 7 janitors, we hear, bringing to a total of 30%. The percent that has been laid off, even as new buildings are created, seems like a real cause for concern. And we're on notice about that, and we really hope that the Chancellor and the Deputy Chancellor and the whole office will take seriously the fact that students and faculty and staff here are not okay with this, and that we want to be a sanctuary not only in word but in practice, for protecting the vulnerable. So that's the gist of what we have. Does anybody else want to have anything to say here? That's my.
Can I actually say something?
Yes, please.
Also, when I signed up to come to school here, I'm just a freshman, second semester, and the whole tour was 360 like different countries that represented at UMass Boston. It's like, so it's kind of weird to be in a place that has such diversity and them not take a supportive stance. So like, right, so even as a representative of the lower classes, right, it's just like a common like thing that I feel like should be recognized more so. Or you shouldn't advertise it as something to come here for.
Yeah, we should walk the walk.
Right.
Samaya, did you want to say anything?
I hope this petition is like taken at the best way possible, and I just hope that Chancellor will be willing to meet with us in the future and hear from us. Because I know during Welcome Week, you know, you can shake his hand or whatever, but it would be like nice to actually be invited in his office and sit down so we can hear our concerns. Because it's better to see someone's reaction right in front of you rather than via email or like through a third party. It's just, we want to see that human reaction from him.
Right. We'll definitely let him know your concerns.
Right, and one way that he could concretely support us would also be by giving the green light to allow our sanctuary campus banner to actually hang in the campus center. We have a larger version which we put up, very professional. We spent our own hard-earned money on it. And it's currently hanging in the campus center. We'd actually love to get the support of the Chancellor to allow it to hang there as not just exemplifying the Chancellor's office position, but calling on all of us in this community to support each other, which is, as you can see, protect each other is a broad call for people to have each other's back at a time of great heightened anxiety and fear. And I think that would be, for us, that would be, in addition to the concrete things we're asking for in our petition, I mean, that would be something else that we would really value as a symbol. I mean, I thought the Chancellor's statement, his outgoing statement yesterday, was quite moving in that shining light idea of what we try to represent here at UMass Boston. In my view, that shining light would mean be a real beacon for human rights here by letting us keep this petition up, letting us keep the petition up, the banner up, and in fact make a declaration saying that he's going to let it stay up and that this is meaningful for our community. So that's what we'll be waiting to hear, and you know, we'll be we'll be back if we don't hear, right? Whether it's with Motley or Mills or both, we'll definitely be back to follow up, right? Because these issues aren't going away, and we're proud of this institution. We want to make it better, right? We want it to be a beacon to the world, and that means protecting ourselves on campus better than we're doing, and going on offense against threats to our values.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody else want to say anything? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.
We also have stickers. If you want to broadcast your own support for the call to be the sanctuary campus, you can take a sticker. Certainly. We'll give it to you for free. It costs us about $1 to make. But you know, you go great on a laptop. What's that?
$1 for each one?
I think a little. What is it? A little less than that, maybe. But we only did 100 the first run. So yeah, a little. They go great on a laptop or a wall or wherever you think, wherever you want to broadcast the message. Also, this is just a fraction of the 1,000 signatures that we have. We'll bring the next section back soon.
Thank you again for coming and bringing the information with you. You know, it's wonderful to have students who are so proactive, who care about the values of the campus, and it's just, you know, we're so proud that you take the stands that you do, and that you take the time that you do, because it does take time away from your job, away from your studies, away from your work, and we're just proud of the students that come.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
thank you for
and
bringing
I'm sorry. And what is your name, just for the group?
Sure. My name is Teresa Mortimer. I'm the assistant chancellor.
Okay, you are the assistant chancellor. It would be great, following up on that pride. Do you think that you could? Will you ask the chancellor whether if we could? I mean, will you communicate our message that we would like to be able to have our banner hang in the campus center?
We certainly will.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you again.
Well,
for coming up.
we'll be back to check up on it.
Very attractive.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we try to be professional about it. All right.